Do you trust your body? This is something that is really important if you're wanting to be able to heal your relationship with food, have a healthy relationship with food. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over 6 tips to start trusting your body and start having a healthy relationship with food and your body. When we can get to a place where we do truly trust our body and we aren't afraid of things like gaining weight and we don't have negative feelings and thoughts around our body image, it really sets us free in a way that we didn't think is possible. So when we really truly trust our bodies and trust that if we fuel our bodies with nutritious foods and really take care of it, it's going to take care of us. That really can get rid of a lot of fears and things that hold us back. So yeah, I really want to break down 6 really important tips to being able to start trusting our body and create that healthy relationship with food. And obviously our body comes into play with that as well. So yeah, I also wanted to say I have a free masterclass which is around starting to overcome emotional eating. It's called Start Overcoming Emotional Eating Today, and I take you through in a few different really important parts of being able to overcome the emotional eating, and also I let you walk away with an action step that will really give you a really good head start in really being able to overcome the emotional eating, and it is a really important step in being able to do this. So make sure you grab that. I'm going to link that below, and yeah, we'll get started into this video. So the first tip I have for you today is to be very mindful of the way you speak about yourself and the things you say, and even if it's inside, like in your thoughts and stuff, what you're really saying about yourself. So this is a really important point, and it kind of encompasses all of the tips today and is really foundational in its impact. So when we're saying really unkind things to ourselves, and a lot of the time we're doing it without realizing we're doing it, and we kind of can look back and be like, okay, maybe that wasn't such a kind thing to be saying to myself. But even just being able to reflect and recognize these patterns is a good starting point for this. And recognizing the impact that these kinds of thoughts are having on us. So yeah, the way we're thinking and speaking about ourselves really feeds into the way we're feeling about ourselves. And if we're saying things, especially about our bodies and stuff, that are really negative in nature, that really kind of feeds into other negative sort of feelings and actions that we take that aren't gonna help us progress and being able to trust and create a healthy relationship with food. So this is a really important starting point, or a thing to start really picking up on and becoming more mindful of. The second tip I have is to make sure the goals that you set and the things that you're striving for are really aligned with where you want to be and how you want to feel. So for example, if you are just focusing on looking a certain way, this really can lead to actions that are not as well. Taking care of your body as well as a different sort of goal could be, for example, feeling good, feeling healthy, and being healthy. So if that was your goal, instead you'd be focusing on really obviously taking care of your mental health, and also just making sure you're nourishing your body with plenty of nutritious foods, rather than if you're just focused on the way you look, that could look like restrictions and a more restrictive mindset towards things. That it's more of a negative sort of association, not a positive association where you're really trying to take care of your body. You're really more focused on the external way that you look. So, and obviously that kind of leads into what actions and what steps you take to kind of get to those goals. So it's really important to ask yourself how you want to feel and what your overall goals really are around health, and just in general how you want to feel in terms of your body and in terms of your mindset as well, and whether the goals that you have set do align with those. So I also wanted to say that even if you do want to lose weight, like that can definitely come in as a goal, but I think having something else as like a main goal is really important, and that could look like really just feeling really good and nourishing your body, feeling healthier, and those sorts of things, rather than just focusing purely on looking a certain way. So yeah, that is the second tip I have, just really having goals that are really aligned with how you want to feel in the long run and how you want your relationship with yourself and food to look. So the third tip I have for you is to really look for the truth in the thoughts that you're having, and then just the neutral truth, not your kind of the beliefs that you hold and what you believe to be the truth. So I'll just explain that a bit more, because that might be a bit confusing hearing that off the bat. So what I mean is, when you have a certain thought, when you've kind of been more mindful about your thoughts, and even if you write them down, you're writing some of them down, taking some time to really be more aware of them, really going back and looking at these thoughts and asking yourself from a different perspective, from someone else's perspective, a neutral perspective, what truth is there to these thoughts, and is there truth, or is it just my beliefs, my biases coming in and making me think these things are truth when they're not. For example, I used to truly believe that I could never have a healthy relationship with food, and that kind of really drove a lot of my thoughts around how I can move forward, and if I could move forward and have a healthy relationship with food. So thoughts like, if I emotionally ate or binge ate, would be like, oh well, this kind of confirms like I definitely can't ever have a healthy relationship with food, I'm always going to be stuck, like those sorts of thoughts that really keep that pattern going. And when if I looked back at those thoughts, I would be able to recognize that there was no truth to it. The only truth that I was the evidence that I was using was just my past experiences. So, for example, saying that I'm stuck and I can't have a healthy relationship with food, there wasn't truth to that. I was making it truth, like, obviously I have a healthy relationship with food. Those thoughts were not factual in nature, they were just my kind of beliefs and my experiences that I decided were the truth. So me saying I can never have a healthy relationship with food, I was deciding that in those moments I couldn't have a healthy relationship with food, when in reality, if I looked at that from a neutral perspective, I 100% could and can, and obviously did have like been able to have a healthy relationship with food. So it's really just looking at those thoughts and really asking yourself, like, is that true, or am I making that true? Like, what evidence am I using? What beliefs am I holding that are causing me to think that way, or really believe those thoughts that are present and obviously kind of going around in my mind. So yeah, that is one example. So yeah, that is number 3, and it's a very powerful one to be able to kind of work through those thoughts that you're having and really start being kinder to your body, which is a really important thing, body and yourself in general, which is a really important thing, to be able to really trust your body and start creating that healthy relationship with food. The next tip is to really ask yourself what you are afraid of. So oftentimes we really go and avoid these things because we're just afraid of something. So, and if it's something with your body and food, in terms of maybe weight gain or something, a fear around trying something different where it isn't restrictive maybe. So really focusing on nourishing your body through plenty of nutritious foods can feel scary, unknown if we haven't done that. So that's one good example of that. So really asking yourself what you're afraid of and why, and what, if that did happen, like what's the worst case scenario in your mind and what's the best case scenario in your mind. So with that as an example, the worst case scenario might be a little bit of weight gain, and the best case scenario would be that you are able to really heal your relationship with food and feel good, nourish your body and feel good. And even with that worst case scenario, that may come alongside the best case scenario, like you may gain some weight and then lose some weight as your body adjusts. Like, that isn't as black and white as we like to make it seem. So when we kind of break down these things that we're afraid of and really get to the bottom of them, we can really start working through them and moving forward. And also, I'd like to say that we've often gotten used to just kind of being in a comfort zone. So when we start pushing out of our comfort zone, it can feel very scary. But once we kind of get used to this and start leaning more into this discomfort, we can really experience a lot of growth and recognize how powerful moving into that discomfort can be. And obviously that makes it easier as we do it more. So yeah, that's a really important tip to really getting to the bottom of why and what you're afraid of when it comes to trusting your body. So tip number 5 is to start listening to your body. And I know, especially for myself, this was something I really struggled with, and when people would say that, I didn't really know what they meant, like how to do it, you know. And I think it's just really opening yourself up to that willingness to start listening to your body. So this could look like just really, when you're feeling hungry, just listening to those hunger cues rather than ignoring them. So with dieting, oftentimes it is like set times, set amounts of food that you eat in the day. So really just breaking away from this sort of thinking and really listening to when your body is hungry. So whether that looks like you're hungry an hour before 12 o'clock. So really listening to that and maybe eating your meal then, or having a snack then, and not feeling like you have to wait and be hungry until 12 o'clock, which is something I used to do. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people do that are coming from dieting backgrounds. So I think it's really important to start breaking those sorts of barriers, or like things that we've kind of put in our minds as it needs to be this way. Obviously there's times where if you're at work and your lunchtime is a set time, that makes it more difficult. But I think when we're at home, like even if it's weekends and stuff, we can start really listening to our body and do our best in obviously life situations as well, like with things like work or when there is set times for eating. Really just being able to listen to our bodies where and when we can. So yes, when it comes to hunger, that is often the main thing we can kind of start picking up on first and really listening to those cues. And also I wanted to say that also looks like if you've had your dinner at say 6 p.m. or something and you find yourself hungry at like 7 or something, eating some more food, having a wee snack, you know, like not feeling like you can't eat just because you've already had dinner or just because it's a certain time at night. Maybe picking more conscious, making sure your choices are conscious and you are picking foods that are really going to nourish your body is really important. But telling yourself, no, it's almost bedtime, or no, I've already had X amount of food today, so I can't have that, is not listening to your body. Because, yeah, that's a whole other topic in itself, but our bodies do fluctuate in how much energy they use each day, so it is very normal to have days where we want to eat more, where we feel hungrier, and yeah, I think that's really important. An important part of the process is really being able to start listening to your body so that you can trust it and it can start trusting you as well. So tip number 6 is just really to imagine and recognize the freedom that you would have if you did trust your body and you did feel free around food and yourself. So using this as a part of your why and your reasoning behind pushing forward and kind of moving through discomfort is really powerful. And I know for me, that was a huge part of my why, was really just to be focusing on what I wanted to create, how I wanted to feel around food, and why it was important for me to push through those discomforts and those uncomfortable feelings that I was feeling when I was really pushing past beliefs or thoughts that I had held for a long time. So this is a really important part of the process, and having a why, like thinking and really imagining what life could be like, what it really means to you to be able to have that kind of freedom and that healthy relationship with food and that trust with your body, what it means for you. So that is tip number 6. And yeah, so that is all of the tips I have today, and I really hope you found them helpful. I know that firsthand that trusting your body is a really important part of the process, and it is really hard to create. It would be really hard to create a healthy relationship with food if we don't trust our body and believe that it does have our best interests at heart. And so that, for example, even the times where we've dieted in the past and we've really struggled to lose weight, or we find ourselves gaining weight quite fast, that is the body's reaction to being used to that kind of restrictive dieting. So it really was trying to protect us and hold on to excess weight in fears of future famines, because obviously the restrictive dieting kind of can put your body into a state of famine or feeling like it's not getting enough energy. So it does kind of change the way it's dealing with food and energy. So yeah, in terms of moving forward from that, it's important to get out of this sort of mindset and this way of fueling your body to really be able for your body to be able to trust you in the first place, as well as you to be able to trust it, to be able to do what it needs to do to take care of you. And recognizing that your body really isn't out there to hurt you. It is there to really thrive and, make you feel good as well. So when you kind of have this trust with your body and are able to move through all these fears that you are holding on to and these kind of beliefs that you hold on to, it can be really powerful, and that's really where creating a healthy relationship with food lies. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what tip you found the most helpful, and yeah, I'll see you on next week's video.